Hey guys, I'm going to do an end of the market wrap-up video on the stock market. We're going to look at technical analysis. So again, in this channel, all I do is cover technical analysis. I point out trade ideas, and that's what I'm going to do in this video is point out some trade ideas. Leave me a thumbs up, and if you want to learn how to use technical analysis to find trade ideas for yourself and how to trade them, take my course. Link is in the description below. It's a $100 course, super cheap for learning a new skill. You'll make that money back pretty quickly if you learn the skill set. So here we go. Triple Qs. So let's look at the hourly chart. You can see we bounced a little bit to that. We didn't quite get to the resistance. The sellers have stepped in. So far, we're breaking back down below, heading down towards the lows of yesterday. So we'll see where we close out the day. But in general, looks like that bounce from yesterday is getting faded. And we'll see. We should see lower prices. I got this level right here. I'm targeting at 324.50, right around there. I think we're heading down there. So still looks good to the downside, and I'm still short. So as long as that remains, we're looking good. I want to point out another trade idea. We'll see if this pans out, but here's Chewy. All right, so look at the daily here. You can see Chewy, obviously uptrend line right there. I circled the divergent high. There's your negative divergence. And there's our break of trend right there. So we have all the setup for a continuation to the downside and a reversing trend. Your uptrend was here. Now we're looking at for a reversing trend or downtrend. So you break trend. We back tested for, we basically been chopping sideways since we broke down. And the support level is about 75.91, and as I zoom in, you can see into the close today, it looks like they're fading that thing down. So I shorted this thing. Now, obviously, they could whip it back up and recover it into the close. So you got to be on point when it comes to that. If they do that, I don't want to be short. I only want to short this thing if it continues to break down. So just something to look for. By the time the video gets out, you'll probably see where this thing's at. But to me, it looks like we got another sell signal. So I'm shorting this thing. And here's the other thing that I like about this. Earnings, we're out of the earnings are out of the way. They reported earnings back here on March 30th. And basically it gapped up the next day and sold off ever since. So this thing's been selling ever since it reported good bullish earnings. And I'm seeing that a lot across the board in a lot of stocks where basically earnings is the high watermark and they're selling off after that. So that could show a change in posture, a change in character of the market where, good news, it doesn't even matter. They're just selling. Something to look for. So the other thing is, this continues to sell off, looking good. So the thing is, negative divergence, it's there. We're also below the 200-day. There's your 200-day, and we're selling down below the 200 days. So all in all, we're breaking a lot of support levels. Looks good to me. That's really all I have to say about that one. Moving on, let's look at ROKU. If I can find it here, right there. All right, so I'm going to cover ROKU. I'm going to cover my short trade right here today because we got earnings tomorrow in ROKU, and there's just a lot of there's too many unknowns. I'm profitable on this trade by 15%, and anybody that took this trade should be about as profitable. So it's that's a nice profit. We're right at support right here at 350. You can see that was former support, and we're at support again. If I had to put a weighting on it, I think earnings are probably going to come out and they're going to sell this thing off. It's going to break down on earnings, but I don't know. It's just a little unknown. So rather than go into the earnings with an unknown, with a nice profit, hoping for more profit, what I'd rather do is cover my short, take the profit at support, and wait to see how earnings pan out. Because if earnings come out bullish, they could run up and try to do another back test of this thing, or gap it up and then sell it down. So rather than that, I'll just cover at support and then look for continued breakdown to, I can always get short again. That's how I'm going to treat this one. So quick update on Snap, just continuing selling. You can see more selling today, breaking this support right here at about 56. If we get that close, if we can continue to sell off into the close, again, I think we're heading straight down to 48. That's a more substantial level of support, so I would expect a bounce or a reaction there. The bounce will probably be, we'll probably bounce, we could bounce all the way up to this 50, back up to 55, or I don't know. But ultimately, I'm still expecting over time, a break of this level and heading all the way down to fill this gap, So we'll continue to just watch that one. But there should be some support right there at about 48, 48.50 or so. Here's AMD. AMD had this slight little up channel, but it's nothing major. I think here's really what I want to watch, the bigger picture. I want to watch the 73, 75 area. That's a major level of support. We break below that, and I think it's very likely we will very quickly run down to about $59, or at least get close to that area. And that continues to be my assumption, or that's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to break this level. We've already hit it once right here. That's a strong level of support. But again, we have negative divergence. We showed the negative. Here's your divergent high price action. And so I'm looking for a reverse in trend, and that would mean we continue lower over time. So that continues to work. I like it. I think we're going lower. Zillow Group, someone talked about this one. So this one, has had a head and shoulders. There's your head and shoulders right there. Shoulder, head, right shoulder. And we now have pretty much broken the neckline. You can see pretty impulsive selling today, below the 200-day moving average, breaking the neckline. I got this thing, I'm really forecasting this thing to trade pretty much all the way down to potentially, the measured target would be this line right here. And it's really putting us, I think, somewhere right in this area at about $90, potentially even lower. So I think we're going lower on Zillow Group, looking weak. And yeah, Lyft, this is a sell signal. I don't think there's any chance they're going to recover this one today. There's only about 30 minutes left in the trading day. So there's your trend line. There's a break of trend, nice impulsive sell down. Look at the volume, big increase in volume. See the volume spike right there over the average volume. That's good. So that's helping to confirm. And again, this was a complete setup. So the setup, we had the negative divergence. That gave us the setup. Now we've got the trigger or the actionable trade. So I'm short this one, taking this one home short. Earnings are out of the way. So, that's basically, we don't have headline risk necessarily that's going to foil this. So again, I think we're heading down to about $32 in Lyft over time, coming into some support right here at about 50, 60. That's the kind of the first level of support. So whether we hit that today, maybe we open up down there. I think we'll likely get a reaction at that level, but still looks good for a short. And Etsy, we've got earnings after the bell, so I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. But the thing is that we are breaking down. So if earnings come out negative, which the chart tells me they're going to, just the posture, the setup, the technical setup of the chart, we're breaking resistance. We could sell down to the 200-day moving average. It was about 167. All right, so that's the next level of support. If we open down there, I'd expect the buyers to be down there. So I'll likely be looking to cover a short trade if we're going to open down there. I am still short this thing. If earnings come out bullish, maybe they bounce it back up to this resistance level around 190.54, and then it sells down from there. Ultimately, I still see bearish setups. I still think we're going lower. Big negative divergence was intact. That kind of turned us onto the trade, and now we're just looking for price to continue to resolve to the downside. This thing's continuing to work, so I'm staying short on this one. And this one hasn't triggered yet, but we'll watch Tesla. We might get a break of trend tomorrow. So here's the daily chart, and you got this trend line right here. You can see we've just been walking up this trend line right there. And we're waiting for a break of that trend. You get a break of that trend, and we should head right down to the 200-day. That's probably where the buyers will try to step in and, mount some defense around there. But that's still a move from a break, from where we're at, that would be a move of 15%. We'll see if we break. All right. So I'm looking for that break of trend. I think we're going to get it because I'm seeing a lot of these momentum stocks starting to break their near-term support trend lines. Across the board. I mean, if I go to Redfin, you can see here, there's your trend line support, and we're getting a breakdown running down to the 200-day. So we're seeing a lot of that across the board. I mean, Peloton broke today. A lot of these momentum stocks are breaking, so I think we're going to get that in Tesla. I don't see it yet, but looks like it's coming. So I might step in a little early on a short, start to short this thing a little early in anticipation of that break. But it still looks good. And then let's go to commodities. Someone said that I wasn't on the coffee chart earlier, so I'll cover this. All right, clear breakout in Joe today. And this is what I was talking about, how Joe was kind of lagging behind the other commodities. So I expected it to play catch up, and it is today, up 6.5%, whereas wheat, the rest of these commodities are still up, 2% or so. Coffee's up 6%, so it's running. We clearly have a breakout. Next level of resistance in coffee, to me, looks like about this 45.50 area. We're right in the midway point, so I think we're heading up to 45.50. Looks good on that one. I don't see any signs of a change. And then I already covered the gold miners. They still look bullish. They still look good. So we're going to wrap up there, guys. End of the day. I'm going to get the video out. Leave me a thumbs up. 2 videos in one day. I would appreciate a thumbs up if you haven't given me one. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.